Well, hello there, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel. Today we got a collective reading ahead of us that we're going to be vibing with. If you found this video, if you stumbled upon this video, you already know there are no such thing as coincidences, and as such, there's a message in here for you, so I'm glad you're here. Whether you find this video as I'm posting it or much further in the future, doesn't matter. Today we're going to be discussing the current overall energies that are going on within the collective at the time I'm recording this video. Yet again, if you're not watching this video as I'm posting it, just to let you know that these energies will still apply, otherwise you wouldn't have found this video. That being said, yeah, if you're interested in whatever's gonna come up, for I myself have only a remote idea currently. If you're interested in, yeah, having more clarity about your situation, I advise you to make yourself comfortable, grab yourself a cup of tea, a coffee, whatever, warm drink, put these feet up, and we're gonna get into the reading. Okay, addressing the elephant in the room, yes, I'm sick again. That's why my voice may sound a little funny. However, I really wanted to do this reading for us today, so yeah, doing this reading, then going back to bed. But I really wanted to do this reading, I felt really inspired, so there we go. Yet again, this is going to be a collective reading about whatever is currently going on. Right now, if you're here yet again, I'm glad that you're here with us, for you will probably found messages, clarity, whatever the reason you may have been brought here. One thing that we can already say in the collective, it's a bit of a funky moment. There is a lot of confusion, there is a lot of redirectioning, if that's a word. There's a lot of new directions, new doors being opened, and a lot of old stuff being purged. And our minds are just left in the middle, where they're like, I don't know anymore where the hell I'm supposed to be going. And that feels scary, that feels very unsettling to many. Some of us are very happy with that because we know that it means that new things are on the horizon, but in any case, yeah, it's a moment where the majority of us feel very quite destabilized, disoriented, hearing a lot of ego death, in the sense of a lot of things we used to be profoundly attached to just getting released, and as such we feel like we're left with nothing anymore, and yet again we don't bloody know where the hell we're supposed to go. That's something that I've been observing, definitely. And yeah, definitely felt that there was a need to step up for a collective reading. For many of us are in a similar cycle. We're going to begin with the tarot because, you know, quite useful, quite fun when it comes to diving deep. I'm really wanting to go deep with this one, so we're going to see whatever pops up. I got some oracle cards on the side, and we're just going to vibe with it. As such, first card I already saw while shuffling, which is the Six of Cups. We got the Eight of Pentacles, the Sun, the Page of Cups, the Three of Pentacles. Okay, what can we say about that, though? Okay, Six of Cups. There's definitely a lot of us been feeling some kind of purge lately when it comes to old emotions, old ways of living. I generally feel, yeah, it feels like we've been losing much in these past months, for some of us past years. We're closing big cycles now, so yeah, it could be something which may have been going on for a while. But here, definitely the feeling of having lost much, which feels like losing to the mind. We haven't been losing anything. If anything, we've just been clearing out the way to the truth. As in, the analogy I'm getting is, it's when you remove everything from your life that you discover what's the truth. When everything is gone, when there's nothing left anymore, well, what is left? The truth. The only thing that you cannot remove is what is true. And this is something which has been going on in the collective for a while now. Yet again, some of us months, some of us were talking years even, and some of us are still in this kind of in the finishing touches of this period of our lives. And there's both the feeling of having purged and purged and purged again, having removed and removed and removed. I'm hearing a lot of deep inner work, facing a lot of our emotions, a lot of our quote unquote inner demons. And also, Six of Cups deals with childhood and innocence, which here is definitely indicating that there's been a big movement towards ourselves, a big movement towards an inner movement, coming back rather to ourselves, coming home, and honoring from from one hand's perspective our inner child, from another hand's perspective just honoring who we are. It's the process of just removing everything which is in the way so that you finally get to see who you actually goddamn are. And that's something which has been quite challenging for a lot of us because, yeah, it means a lot of things leaving our life, and in the physical for our minds, that can feel pretty darn scary. We're talking about the end of relationships, the end of a job, the end of like having to move places. It can, and again, appear in many, many different ways. Yet the beauty that I find in this card is that this all of this has really been about coming back to who we are, coming back to our purity, to our innocence, coming back to this childish version of ourselves and honoring it and loving it and mending everything that needed to be. And just, yeah, like reuniting with who we are, which is beautiful. It is beautiful, although the process on the outside may have felt more than chaotic, definitely. And as such, we just find ourselves as a collective at a point where it's like, I don't goddamn know anymore. I just don't know anymore where to go, what to do. I had dreams, I had plans, but very much visibly my higher self, my heart, or even God, the universe, whatever feels external to us seem to be having other plans for us, and that didn't necessarily very well compute back then. And now we're like, I don't bloody know what to hope for, honestly. There's this sense of just giving up. And the Eight of Pentacles is here indicating, I'm definitely getting the image of, when you're hammering something. While you are knocking that thing, imagine just forging these coins. Let's use the literal imagery here. Well, these coins may be beautiful, they may be very valuable, they got beaten the hell out of to be made. They got hammered again and again and again, And that's definitely the kind of image that I get. It's like most of us have heard these metaphors, but a seed, before becoming a beautiful plant, a seed has to spend a long time in the darkness of the earth before sprouting and seeing the light. The most beautiful and shiniest diamonds are made under the most amount of pressure. The finest wines are made when they're squished with our feet in the barrels. I don't know how they're called, but and here yet again, it's like these beautiful coins, which are so valuable, which are so shiny, which are so attractive. We're like, oh my god, everyone wants a piece of these coins. They got hammered the hell out of to be made in order to make them. And that's definitely an imagery because for the collective, it just feels like, please God have mercy, because if it has just felt awful at some point, it just feels like, yeah, a lot of things may not have gone the way we would have preferred them to be. Some of us already know that it went exactly how it was supposed to, and that it's not a problem as such. Some of us may have already been in communion with the why it's been happening, and may already be aware of the perfection of what's been happening, and so weren't so stressed out about what was unfolding. Yet the majority I'm sorry, that's not how it was felt and perceived. It just felt like just being beaten the hell out of again and again and again repeatedly. But here it's already the first piece of message. It's like you've been forged into something beautiful. The brightest and shiniest and most beautifully refined diamonds are those which endure tremendous amounts of pressure under the crust of the earth and then get refined with very sharp and very hard tools into the most beautiful, prettiest diamonds. And that's definitely what the sense I'm getting is like everything we've been going through, being honest with oneself. Sure, it may not have been feeling like walk in a fairy tale land filled with butterflies and roses, but you cannot deny the fact that the person that you are today is definitely not the same as it used to be yesterday. You are a very different person, much more aware, much more confident. You can see how who you are today is much quote unquote better in any ways better means to you to who you used to be. And it's definitely this kind of sensation of the collective and humanity as a whole getting refined. The purpose of this hammering wasn't to just mess with you. There's no point in messing with someone with no other reason than that. The universe will not be losing its time with that. It's pointless. But there's definitely a purpose when you realize that, yes, that which we've been hammering actually turned into a beautiful coin. That which we've been putting so much pressure onto is what led them into becoming a diamond. What we've been setting on fire needed to be set on fire so as to break open. You know, like I believe it's the eucalyptus trees, although don't quote me on this one, for it may absolutely not be this tree. But there's a decently famous tree, which as you can see is so famous that I'm not even sure it's the eucalyptus, which seeds will not break open and as such be able to grow into a new tree unless there's a forest fire. The sheer heat of the forest fire is what it takes to break open the seed so as to make it able to grow. It's like all of these metaphors, all of these images is just to give you the idea of what's been going on. It's Spirit wants to make it clear, yes, it's been feeling rough. The purpose of it wasn't to just be rough, obviously, although that's how a lot of us have experienced it. The purpose of it was to refine you and help you discover how much you shine. But in order to discover how badass you are, how much you shine, how beautiful you are, well, we need to remove all the crap that there was in the way. That's why there's been a lot of purging. That's why it feels like everything's been going downhill since then. It's not for the purpose of it going downhill, it's just for the sake of removing all the crap and making you see how gorgeous and beautiful and amazing you are. That's why it's been happening this way. So if that's the first time you come in contact with this kind of idea, that's your thing. If you've already been in contact with this kind of messages and idea, that's just a confirmation. But it's like, no, the purpose isn't to mess you up. Get that out of your mind. I know that the mind may be tempting to think that. That's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is, yeah, definitely refining you, making you discover how bright you are. The purpose of it is just the sun card. Let's get it straight. It's happiness. You know when we say everything always happens in your highest interest? Yet again, this is something, a mantra that many of us may have heard before. Not necessarily a mantra that, although we may have heard before, we believed in or really perceived to be a truth in our reality. But that's definitely what has been going on, though, is all of this crap that has been stripped away from your life was what's in the way of your light. I was having another metaphor. I don't want to even bother with another metaphor, for we have already so many. But the purpose of it all is your highest happiness. But yeah, the most happy. The happiest version of you is the version of you which will not tolerate people treating them in a bad manner. And what better way for you to stop being treated in a bad manner by other people if it isn't for people to treat you so badly for so long that you eventually just lose it and you say, you know what, screw that, I'm done with that. Well, now you've set up boundaries and now you're stop being happy. Through this contrast, yet again, it's like through this contrast, through things not going our ways, we discovered that which we prefer, we discovered who we actually were, and so we've really embraced our next level in a way. It's really, yeah, through the contrast, through all of the things that we did not like, all of it redirected us onto that which we did like, that which we did prefer, that which we are. And that is opening the door to the sun. It's like, yes, we are happy. Yes, we know how brightly we shine. We know how amazing we are. But it's not naive at all. Boundaries are hella made up. Boundaries are up, let me tell you that. You will not tolerate anyone to roll over you. You will not tolerate anyone treating you for less than. You will not tolerate yourself settling for less than. You know, there is a lot of self-esteem, a lot of self-confidence, a lot of self-love which is emanating from this card. It's not just being happy. It goes way beyond that. Yes, you're happy. Yes, you get everything you want, but it's so much more because you are the king of your life, and that's definitely where the refinement has been happening. I am so sorry if my voice sounds funny because I'm really feeling like I'm talking with my nose. It's definitely not the most comfortable, but hey, I still hope that this message is beneficial and helpful. But yeah, yet again, it's like, it's not just about the sun. The sun is the brightest and the happiest, most positive, optimistic card that you have in tarot. And it's like, it's not just about that. It's like, oh yeah, it feels so good, it's amazing, everything you want. It's not just about that. It goes well beyond that. Yes, you have it all, but you actually know how to quote unquote handle it. You know how to care for it. You know how to protect it because you know your worth. You know how to put healthy boundaries. And all of these things came through you being quote unquote beaten the hell out of. Hammered repeatedly. It's when you get hammered repeatedly that at some point you end up just losing it, getting so tired of it that you stand up for yourself. And that's when you stand up for yourself that spirit goes like, there you go. Finally, we're so proud of you. There's definitely a lot of pride coming from spirit. Because yet again, it's like, it's obvious that it hasn't always been easy. It's obvious that there has been some real tough challenges. But all of it, now that we're getting out of this, yeah, by the way, we're getting out of this, although it, for some of us may still be experiencing themselves having the head in this, even if that's your case, definitely my case here, you know. Even if you feel like you're still in it, just know that you are dealing with the finishing touches now. And I forgot what I was saying before. Oh yeah, it's obvious that it hasn't been easy, always easy, but it's like spirit is so freaking proud. And you will see after that it was so worth it. Oh yeah, it was not easy, but it's really when you look back and you see that all of this hammering on your head led you into turning into such a beautiful, gorgeous being, because it's what it took for you to stop pretending being less than. It's what it took for you to stop and be done with tolerating less than. You will realize how worth it was. It will definitely make you sink deeper in trust and surrendering to the universe. Yes, some of us are still in a phase where we don't trust life because we're like, if I trust life, I'm just expecting that I'm gonna be hammered the hell out of, and it's painful. And it's understandable to be in this perspective, don't get me wrong at all. It's very understandable. At the end of the day, you will realize how much it benefited you. Yes, the pain, the contrast, the being beaten the hell out of benefited you tremendously. It served you tremendously. From this perspective, immediately there is a redefining of what pain means, of what's our relationship to pain, what's our relationship to challenges and hardships. All of a sudden, we notice that we're not powerless to the pain, to the hardship. As such, we stop trying to avoid it. And we even start, call me crazy, we even start welcoming it. Whenever the hardships and the pain and the challenges surface, now we know. Not necessarily why, but where it's gonna lead us. Oh, it's painful. Oh, this contrast. Oh, I know that this is me transforming into an even better version of myself. And that's definitely the kind of perspective that we're reaching as a collective, which is beautiful because from that perspective, you stop resisting pain. You stop resisting challenges. You start seeing them in a positive, optimistic way. You start seeing them in how you start seeing them for the tremendous amount of help they bring to you when it comes to being the best version of yourself, creating the life of your dreams. Without the pain, without the pressure, there would be no diamonds. Without the pressure, there wouldn't be gemstones. Without the hammering, you wouldn't be where you are today. And that's, once it ends, yes, the situation needs to end at some point. Nothing is permanent, even the happy ones. Life is ever changing. That's the beauty of it. As this cycle comes to an end, we will, or some of you already have, been seeing back, reflecting. It's really when you look back at what happened that you see from a higher perspective, a detached perspective. That's why don't expect yourself to have access to that perspective immediately if you feel like you're still in it. That's okay. Do what you gotta do. Eventually it'll come though. Trust me on that one. The collective is getting you to that, so you're not special enough to not be human, okay? But it's definitely reflecting back, you will see why it happened, why it needed to happen, and why it was your soul's, I was about to say mission, but your soul's choice to go through these experiences, as tough as they may have been feeling back then. Because look at the beautiful, gorgeous thing you have become today, and the amount of joy you're capable of experiencing, the amount of goodness that is now filling your life, all of which you would have never experienced if you were still carrying all of this shit with you. It all needed to go. Yet again, it felt like I'm going on a tangent, but it's really redefining our definition with pain and challenge, redefining our definition with hardship to the degree that we are not resisting it anymore. Doesn't mean that all of a sudden we enjoy pain, not at all. If you enjoy pain, then pain has no purpose for you anymore. Pain is not meant to be enjoyed. Challenges are not meant to be intrinsically fun, but they can be exciting. Although it's a challenge, although it's painful, once you understand, once you see it, you can see in a positive way. Yes, it's not the funniest. There are other things I would prefer. Yes, it's painful. But since it's painful and since it's a challenge, I know now, by experience looking back, I know that this is happening for me because this is what's gonna catapult me into my next level, into a version of me which is even happier, even more at peace, even more joyful. It's always happening in my highest interest. And one thing I'm raising is redefinition of our relationships with pain and challenges and hardships, and as such, a deep sinking into trusting life. And I was hearing before, like, a fun saying from spirits was like, even if you don't trust life, it's like spirit prefers you being at war with them, but knowing that you are ascending and becoming such a beautiful version of yourself rather than you being their best friends, knowing that you're stuck in the past, that you're stuck with all of your luggages, stuck with all of these emotions that are still need to be purged. They prefer you have their consent and their authorization to be mad at them for everything which is happening, to make them responsible for everything which is happening or has happened, because they prefer you being mad at them, that you being their best friends, while they know that you are just not aligned with your highest potential. That's a fun one coming through, but yeah. Oh, that being said, we got still a few cards. The Page of Cups, it feels like Page and Cups, it's a new beginning in the terms of the in the emotional sphere, but it's not an ace. The Ace of Cups is the beginning of an emotional adventure. It's a new beginning of a kind. The Page is also a beginning, but it's the 11th card of the suit. It's a new beginning, but it's not naive. You know, we got the purity of the white hair here. It's definitely, yeah, it's, to me it feels like experiencing life in a completely brand new way. Although none of us will observe like a one day we experience life in a harsh way and the following day all of a sudden we feel it this way. No, it's been very gradual. You wouldn't be able to tell when it happened because it happened over a very long period of time, yet again over months or years. But all of a sudden we realize that we're experiencing life in such a peaceful manner. We got like the two fish, which definitely reminds me of the Two of Cups, which is harmony, partnership as well. But here in this case is very focused on our internal state of being. We feel at peace, we feel in love with ourselves, in love with life, and it's just such, at first, a profound sense of relief, and then just a sense of peace. Because we have understood that all of it happened for a reason, and now we are squarely in the possession of the knowing that everything is always happening in our best interest, even when the mind doesn't feel like it. From then, what are you afraid of anymore? What bad things could be happening? Nothing. But yeah, it generally feels that this is a beautiful lesson for the collective. Yet again, we got at the center of the spread, we got the sun. It's such a positive card, and yet the focus is not on that. Yes, all of your dreams, the positivity, blah blah blah, it's all coming. You've heard that already 1,000 times over and over and over again. You're gonna be happy. You're gonna be enjoying it. You're gonna have everything and better, actually, much better, and not the way you expected it. You already know these things. And yet, the most beautiful thing that we're taking out of this experience is really the surrendering to life, surrendering to ourselves, and putting an end to this form of fear of, oh my god, I don't trust life because I'm afraid that things will happen that I'll suffer. It's like, we understand where it's like, even if things get hard, we're not afraid of them. We welcome them. We're okay with them. We don't resist them because we know what's gonna come out of this. We know that it's acting in our best interest. We're gonna come even stronger, happier, and calmer out of it. So yeah, a beautiful new stance of life. That's what it feels like. Just feeling so abundant within, so at peace, so relaxed. That is beautiful. For the Three of Pentacles, I'm definitely wanting to bring out another card because I don't know what it's referring to right now. Spirit, what do you want to tell with this Three of Pentacles? And then, oh, interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Anand and the Three of Pentacles. By the way, Anand, if you know tarot, well, you probably will not know Anand because this is a card which is added in this deck, like major arcana that comes after the world. So yeah, that's just for the Easter egg. Three of Pentacles and Anand. Well, one thing which is already popping up to mind is how our relationships will change. A lot of us may have experienced a sense of isolation, although it may not have appeared physically. Some of us have experienced this sense of isolation. Some of us have experienced a lot of relationships coming to an end, romantic, friendly relationships, perhaps even in the career department, relationships coming to an end and feeling like they're not getting replaced. And so the sense of, yeah, the stem of the sense of isolation, because perhaps a lot of us needed to be in presence of ourselves and free from distraction in order to be refined into the beautiful diamonds, blah, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, this definitely a sense of, yeah, some of us may have experienced this isolation, and even if physically it didn't appear, because some of us may have still been around a lot of people, there's still the sense of inner isolation, of still looking for people with whom we connect more deeply. Which yet again, it's like, how do you hope to connect more deeply with someone if you're not connecting deeply with yourself first, you know? So there's definitely here a message of, oh yeah, by the way, friendships and connections are coming back in the mix. Expect many new relationships of a multitude of different kinds. But also, just the flow. I'm hearing co-creation. The Three of Pentacles is the card of collaboration, where you got three people here, three coins, all tending to the same plant, one seeding, one watering, one fertilizing. The three are focused on the same project. It's the card of collaboration. And here I'm definitely hearing co-creation, where you understand that you are not the only one. I mean, you're not supposed to make it work. That's another, I feel like that's another beautiful lesson. One is surrendering to the flow, surrendering to life, and knowing that everything is always happening in your best interest, even when it gets a little darker, and not being scared of it anymore. Another one is just surrendering to the flow of life, surrendering to the process of creation, surrendering to creation, knowing that you're not supposed to know how it's gonna play, you're not supposed to make it work, because you see that even when it gets dark, eventually you eventually realize that it's what it took for you to reach where your destination, where you wanted to go. So there's definitely this sense of surrendering to the flow of creation. Getting back in the flow is like, okay, now I understand what the hell it means to be co-creating, so to speak. And it's definitely making me feel like, yeah, it's coming back to this inner knowing, which is aligned with who we are and allows us to relax into who we are. No, you're not supposed to make it all happen yourself. No, that's not how it works. You're not supposed to figure it out. That's not the job of the physical mind. That's the job of the higher mind. And through these experiences, we really open up to that. So beautiful, beautiful lesson here as well. It's like, no, you're not alone. You're not supposed to figure it all out yourself. That's not how life was intended. So, yeah. Beautiful lesson, which I'm feeling like may not make sense to many people right now. It will make sense in due time. You'll get there, don't you worry, pretty soon. Okay, I don't feel like there's an... No, I'm feeling called to... Never mind, I'm feeling called to pick up a few oracle cards. I'm gonna start with this one. Well, very deep energies, but which put a lot of context to what's been happening. Definitely. So yet again, I hope that whatever messages are coming through, they resonate, they make sense, they help you make sense of what's been happening, that they're beneficial in any way it's relevant to you. These are very beautiful cards. These are very positive cards. Light in the unexpected. It's 100% this, what we've been discussing. Like, even when things get dark, we may be scared at first, especially when we haven't had the experience of being able to look back at what has happened before and realize that, yeah, it always ends up working out. That sometimes it getting dark is the only way for it to work out. Light in the unexpected is 100% the feeling of when things get dark, it's a good sign. Which is not a popular opinion to the mind. Definitely not. But yeah, when things get dark is your signal that there is a huge transformation. It's this realization that the unexpected, the darkness, is always working on your favor yet again. And a lot of us will see that. It's like we will realize pretty darn soon, if not already, most of us, it will be pretty darn soon, that things going the way we did not prefer it actually was things going how they were supposed to be going, for the sake of us getting to where we were wanting to go the fastest and most efficient way possible, the way we imagined and thought and had figured out to get there was not the most optimal way. Our minds thought that in order to get to point B we need to do this and that. Well, it turns out that's not true. I mean, what do our minds know? Our minds just make hypotheses, but they do not know. The higher mind does. The physical doesn't. And it's really when, it's like our physical minds make up these plans and we think we're going to do this, and that because we have it all figured out and everything's perfect, everything's in control, blah, blah, blah. Then things go to shoot and we don't understand and we panic and we're afraid and we're scared and we heal and blah, blah, blah. And then we realize that actually this was the quickest path, actually. We thought that we had it all figured out, whereas the quickest path was the one we were not expecting, was the one that we would have preferred not to embark on. And if we were told that this was the journey to get there, we sure as heck would not have come on it. We wouldn't have hopped on this path if we knew what was ahead of us. And yet, it was the quickest way to go there. Yet again, with this redefinition of, it's not because it's not going the way we prefer it that it means it's not going the way we want it, eventually. Besides the epiphany, the realization, it's yet again, I feel that a lot of us feel like a lot of things have been happening and we were very upset, and we will realize that a lot of beautiful things are stemming from these unfortunate events, which will really yet again be challenging our definition of, well, was it bad then? Yes, it was not preferred, but was it bad? Maybe not, after all. Stop dropping around, magic happens when you most expect it. I definitely get this overwhelming sensation of there's so much goodness happening, a lot of relaxation, a lot of just exhaling, deep breaths. Just feels like a relief, but the relief is just the initial phase of just this newfound peace. Because fear has left the channel. The fear has left our body. Not that fear will never be felt anymore, of course not, but this chronic fear is no longer here. There's definitely such a strong sense of peace, of groundedness, of centeredness, and much easier time to get ourselves to these feeling states. And yeah, just the sensation of things are about to get wild and so fun and so optimistic. If things have been feeling a little rough lately, sure, it's bad. The wheel of fortune is spinning. Things will be great, but a lot of it may happen in ways we did not expect it. And a lot of the things we want, we will realize that we will get something way better. Something which is so good, we didn't even know we needed that. So a lot of positivity coming through it. Feeling inspired to take one or two last oracle cards before wrapping it up. Yup. Work through your feelings. Be real. I love this full moon in Aquarius card. It's very cool. What do we get here? Well, the majority, it just feels like wrapping it up. The majority of the process which we have been experiencing these past months, years, however long it took, had a lot to do with us working through our feelings. A lot of the baggages we were carrying around, a lot of the things we were carrying with us which were no longer serving us, a lot of it was our feelings. Old feelings that needed to be honored and released. And now, what we're stepping into right now is ourselves, being real with ourselves, the truth of who we are. And that is priceless. So yeah, just from working through our feelings and feeling like everything's going havoc to finding the peace of being ourselves, realizing that everything's alright, everything's gonna go well. Because even when things feel like they're not going our way, they still actually are. It just means that if it's not going our way, it just means that it's happening even faster than what we were expecting it to. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful messages. Thank you so much for having shared space with me today. That was a lovely reading. I hope it was beneficial. I hope it was helpful. I really do hope that yeah, it helped you make a little bit of sense of what has happened and give you this boost for the final steps of this process if you're still in it. If you still feel like you're working through some feelings, I hope that this will give you the motivation to finish it up, reach the finish line. And yeah, very proud of us on this one. I'm very happy that the collective is coming to these conclusions because I genuinely feel that these lessons are much needed at this point in time. So that is beautiful. And I'm very proud of us for that. And yeah, I'm sending you so much love. Please let me know down in the comments how it went for you. I was almost forgetting. Please let me know how it went for you. Whatever your thoughts are, if it resonated, I'd love to be discussing with you in the comments and know what you have to say. And also, if you want to support this channel, please like and subscribe, as well as commenting. That would support me very well, and I would be very thankful for that. That being said, I wish you a nice day, a nice evening, a nice night, whatever applies. And yeah, sending you so much love, and I'll see you in my next video. See ya. Take care.